So you can see what we're working with here. Okay. So as we can see, okay, you do a pretty good job of getting that leg up and your body going to the target pretty well and aggressively. Okay. We got that hip out in front. We're leading the way and we're letting momentum get us going to the target. But at this point right here, once we get about this much gap between our knees, okay, we need to start using this back leg and moving our entire body towards the target. Okay? If we don't start using this back leg to drive our entire body towards the target, our lower body will not have the energy required to produce the power that's needed to get the explosiveness of these hips, knees, shins, and feet to fully rotate before this front foot hits the ground. Okay? When this front foot hits the ground, we call that front foot strike. When we get into front foot strike, we need to have had back foot driven us away from the rubber and rotated. We need this kneecap, which right now is facing us, to have rotated inwards so that the kneecap is more facing the target. We need this back hip to be rotated around so that our belt buckle is to our target, which would then put our hip, knee, and foot in this lead leg in a nice straight formation to the target. Because we are going to see here that this back leg does not start driving our entire body out aggressively enough to have enough momentum to turn into power and explosiveness to help rotate our lower body in a quick enough time window so that every movement of the lower body occurs before this front foot hits the ground. And again, that's called front foot strike. So if we play this through, we can see that this back leg is not, sorry about that. This back leg is not really doing a whole lot right now. All right, notice how this back knee is just kind of collapsing in. And then, boom, foot's in the ground. Okay, so like we said, at front foot strike here, we need to see this back foot driving us away from the rubber and rotating. We can see right now we've just gotten to the point of which we are going to start to drive. But can we drive our body closer to the plate if our front foot's already in the ground? The answer is no. We are stuck in this position now. Even though this lower body, after this moment in time, wants to start, boom, driving, it will not be able to because this front foot is blocking your body from being driven any further towards the plate. Okay? We can see that this back hip has not rotated at all because there's the center of your pants still facing us. It needs to be facing the target. Okay? Our arm is getting into a pretty good position. It didn't get there cleanly, okay? But where it has found itself is not a terrible position. Where our glove is at is a little out of sync with where this is at, but not an issue. Again, what we're mostly focused on right now is this lower body. We bring it to this front hip now. We can see that front hip has just begun to slightly rotate out. But then we look at this leg here. This is our femur bone from our hip to our knee. And that is going downwards. And it's also going from left to right. That knee is bending inwards, which then means from our knee to our ankle through our shin bone is going from right to left, going down. And then we can see our foot is going from the heel to the foot. It's pigeon-toed a little bit, meaning our toe is inwards. We can also see that we're landing on our toe first, meaning that this foot wants to really be further out so we can land level, okay? And because we did not drive off this back leg well enough to create enough momentum to turn into power that we can use to create explosiveness, which would help all of these movements move quicker and faster, getting into the position they need to be when this foot hits the ground, okay? Your body gets to that position, which is here, okay? We see this position is a lot different than when that foot first gets in the ground. Okay, if you were able to get your lower body to this position here when the foot first hits the ground, we would be better shape. Okay, but look at this knee here. Because we landed with this weird angle in our foot, and this weird angle was caused by this backside not driving and firing and rotating on time, and it didn't do it on time because we weren't aggressive enough with it early in our delivery. And because we weren't aggressive enough with it in our delivery and we weren't able to rotate it and fire it on time, this leg gets caught in halfway of its position. But if this foot was staying off the ground and we were more aggressive with this lower body, it would be doing all of this movement while both feet are still off the ground. So then you'd get to here, and this foot would be more like your front of your toe is here now. It would be more like here. So then you would have your femur bone here, and then your shin bone would be going more on an angle like this, as opposed to straight up and down. Okay? And now because of this backside leg not being aggressive enough, and we find ourselves in this position at foot strike, this front knee is going to have to buckle out towards first base dugout in order to create the space needed for this back hip to come through. So watch this front knee here. And watch how it buckles out. Buckles out. So as that's happening, where's all your energy going? It's going outwards. It's going outwards. Where's the energy need to go? It needs to go to a target. And because that front knee is going out, watch what the front shoulder does. Peels out. Why is the front shoulder peeling out? Because the shoulders now, because the lower body has not rotated, the upper body has to rotate the lower body. What has more weight? Your upper body or your lower body? Obviously, it's your lower body. A lot bigger muscles down there, a lot longer limbs down there. So if this lower body weighs more than the upper body, but the upper body is moving the lower body, the upper body can't move as aggressively in the direction it needs to. It's going to have to start peeling this shoulder out and around to help pull this back hip through. So if we watch as this front knee buckles out, front shoulder is going to dip out and down, all to help this back foot, back knee, back hip get into the position it needs to be. So we watch, boom, everything flies out to the side to bring the lower body through. Lower body's through, everything peels out. Foot hits the ground, foot strike. Now everything has to peel out to get the backside through. And now all of our energy is going where? Towards first base dugout while we're trying to send this ball straight forward. Okay, so from here, we got to start driving this back leg better to get our whole body going more out in front. We need to reach that front leg out to get further out in front. All right, if we make this a little bit smaller and we pull up one of my younger guys that I work with, 10-year-old here, make his a little bit smaller. Okay. And we watch. Okay, so like I talked about, oops, let me Get back to here. So I talked about once we get to this little angle here between our knees that you have about right here, okay, this is when this back leg needs to really start driving our entire body towards our target. Okay, so let's watch and see how this back leg is driving his body out. All right, his whole body is going towards the target, towards the target, towards the target. And now watch how everything's rotating and driving. Boom. Look at his lower body when he gets to foot strike. All right. Let's now, we'll drop him down here. Bring you up here. And we get you to your foot strike right here. Okay, look at these differences. Look at his back leg. Look how far he has driven his entire body. Okay, we bring him back, and look, his body starts here. I'll leave my cursor there. And he gets all the way out to here at foot strike right there. So where my cursor is currently at right here, he went all this way. That's how far he driven his body. That's what energy he created going towards his target. All right, we start where you're at. You're right here, okay? And you only get to here. Not a big distance that you travel. Not a lot of energy that you created towards your target, okay? We look at his front knee here as he goes to rotate his upper body. There's minimal swivel. He's able to get out in front with that throw. Look at his head, right on target. Energy is going to that target. Energy is going to that target. Where's your energy going? Towards first base dugout. Towards first base dugout. All right, so if I get you at foot strike right there, I back him up to foot strike right there. We play you, we play him, and we can see those slight differences. Look how much energy he has coming around that throw versus your energy. Okay, so take him back to where his hands are about to separate. Take you back to where your hands are about to separate. Play and play. All right, so we got to get much more aggressive off that back leg, moving your body towards your target, creating energy, momentum, and power.